In the bubble, let's run the floor through some of last night's action. Starting with the Sixers, Shake Milton hit a go-ahead three with less than 10 seconds to go. Philly hung on to beat San Antonio 132-130. Milton had 16 points after scoring none in Philly's loss to the Pacers Saturday. It was a career night for Michael Porter Jr., helping the Nuggets to a big win over another Western contender. Denver beating OKC by 8 in overtime. A career-high 37 points and 12 boards from Porter Jr. They also got a triple-double from Nikola Jokic. And Zion Williamson scored 23 points in 25 minutes, won the battle against fellow rookie Ja Morant. Pelicans beat the Grizzlies by 10. Pelicans now 2.5 back of Memphis for the number 8 seed in the playoffs with 5 games left in this regular season. And we open the hour with the Lakers clinching the top seed in the West with an 8-point win over the Jazz. Anthony Davis exploded with 42 and 12. LeBron had 22 points, 8 boards, 9 assists. But after the game, LeBron was talking about the larger purpose the league is serving in the bubble.
I was thinking about the other day when we played the Raptors, and we kneeled for 2 national anthems, and I think it was a little bit over 4 minutes, and we actually as a unit, as a team, had to switch our knees over from one knee to the other knee because they started to get sore, started to start hurting a little bit, and that's just a little over 4 minutes, and you think about 8 minutes and 46 seconds, of an officer having his knee in someone's throat for that long. Video or no video, it doesn't matter. No one deserved to lose their life when it could have been prevented, from what I've seen and from what the world has seen. So, that's what the T-shirt is all about, is the world is watching. Everyone knows the time, everyone knows what's going on. You saw all the, great protests that went on, throughout the whole world, supporting us here in America, but more importantly, supporting George Floyd and his family. That's what it was about.
Powerful words from LeBron James as we cross the bottom of the hour. Mike Greenberg here with Get Up on ESPN. Stephen A. Smith joins us, and they're a half an hour away from a full edition of First Take. And so, Stephen A., I just would love to give you the floor and let you react to those really powerful and thoughtful night.
Well, they were incredibly powerful, and props to LeBron James, to Kyle Lowry, to Russell Westbrook, and many others that we've seen speaking, particularly during post-game since the season resumed last Thursday. All of these guys have spoken. They've basically regurgitated the same message, which is a very, very powerful one. We had a modern-day lynching as far as we're concerned. You don't just have to hang from a noose or to be lynched. Guess what? You can be lynched by having a knee on your neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, especially when the last two plus minutes, George Floyd was not even responding. And still, the officer kept his knee on George Floyd's neck. So it's an incredibly powerful message that you want to regurgitate and to repeat on many, many occasions, because you don't want our society to forget. Certainly, there was a racial protest and things of that nature. There was an uproar that resonated throughout this nation because we saw how unfair and how grotesque that was. And we had a lot of folks, particularly in white America, who stood up and recognized how egregious that was and said, we want to listen, we want to hear, and we want to learn from this and move forward together as a nation, which obviously is the proper message that needs to be sent. So I applaud LeBron James and all the NBA players for saying what they said, but it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop with just raising awareness. It stops when we're able to implement things that says we're doing something about it. For example, federal legislation designating police brutality against an unarmed black man a federal hate crime, doing various other things in terms of connecting with lobbyists and going on Capitol Hill, and just putting pen to paper and making sure that laws are implemented to disincentivize people for even thinking of doing something so egregious. Those are the kind of things that I think need to happen going forward. I think these players, with their wealth, with their cachet, with their notoriety and fame, have tremendous power to influence those things. So again, I applaud what they're doing. I just hope it doesn't stop by raising awareness. I hope that folks keep on pushing forward to make real change take place, because thus far, as beautiful as these things are to see, in the end, they are symbolic gestures if it amounts to nothing else coming from it.
Yeah, that's well said, and I agree with you. And I think the way they've managed to keep that at the forefront while they've resumed their season has been remarkable, one of the many remarkable accomplishments for that league in that bubble. And so to segue to the basketball piece of this, Stephen A., we spoke yesterday and a lot about Anthony Davis and just how significant he is in the Lakers' chances of winning a championship. And at least for last night, it was good news. 42 points, and he asserted himself, and he was dominant. And Jackie Mack was talking a lot this morning with us here about the number of foul shots that he has been taking, averaging almost 14 free throws a game since they've come back. What are you seeing from Anthony Davis now, and what does he need to be for the Lakers to win it this year?
Well, I'm seeing an elevated level of aggression, and he deserves props for that. We all know he's one of the top 5 players on the planet. He's the real deal. But in the same breath, it's a little bit easier to do that against the Utah Jazz than it's going to be to do that against the Los Angeles Clippers. I've repeatedly said this. It's not about the points that he scores, because he's going to do that against anybody. It's how he does it that's going to tell the story. The more aggressive you are, particularly attacking the basket, the more you'll be able to neutralize what they're going to throw at you defensively. I'm talking about a team like the Los Angeles Clippers or the Houston Rockets, who are anticipated to be one of the teams standing in their way. We got to throw Denver into the equation as well with the Joker. You've got to attack. You've got to make sure you get these people in foul trouble. You've got to assist in doing to them what they plan on doing to you if you're Anthony Davis, and that is wear you down. When I spoke to the Clippers at the beginning of the season, again, they acknowledged he's one of the top 5 players in the world. They said he's the real deal. Here's the flip side. If we get physical with him and get him to resort to shooting jump shots and what have you, that leaves us fresh in the fourth quarter. We're devoid of foul trouble, and we can really amp it up with no concerns whatsoever, because we'll be fresh and able to go up against them. So Anthony Davis heard those words. Anthony Davis knows that. He came off First Take and acknowledged that he heard those things, and he's got to make sure that he's ready to offset that by being in complete attack mode. And then remember, the loss, and I've got to give props to my man Jalen Rose here, because with the minute Avery Bradley elected not to join the Lakers for the restart of this NBA season, the bottom line is you've got an elite on-ball defender that's been taken away from you. And what we saw last night against the Utah Jazz was Donovan Mitchell being able to get where he wanted, when he wanted to. And that's a problem. You don't want that to happen to you if you're the Los Angeles Lakers. So you're going to need to amp up your defensive prowess as well. Anthony Davis could do it on the front court, plus he has the quickness and athleticism to get out and defend perimeter players, but he's going to need help. And not having Avery Bradley there and not having Rajon Rondo there is definitely huge blows to the Los Angeles Lakers. So I'll keep my eyes on that, and it's going to call for Anthony Davis to be that much more aggressive to offset those losses.
Now, he feels like the most important player in the Western Conference lead last night. All right, Stephen A., I've been waiting all morning long to play this soundbite for you, because we all know your feelings about Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers yesterday got up there and he had to respond to the comments that his coach had made about his future in Green Bay. And Rodgers did not disappoint. This is what Aaron said.
I think that if I retire on the team's, timeline, then all is well. But if they're looking to move on before I'm ready to be done playing, then there comes an impasse at that point. I can control, my play and my performance and my approach and my leadership. But at some point, there's other factors involved.
If I retire timeline, then everything will be okay. Stephen A., I'm an expert in very few things, but one of them is passive-aggressive comments, and that's an excellent one. What is your reaction to what Aaron Rodgers said yesterday?
Well, Aaron Rodgers is saying that he plans on moving on, that he doesn't anticipate retiring as a Green Bay Packer, because they've sent the message that, guess what, he's not the future. Jordan Love or somebody else is the future, and I don't blame him for feeling that way. He was far more kinder and obviously significantly more passive-aggressive than I would have been. Let me be very, very clear. The Green Bay Packers, in my estimation, should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. Aaron Rodgers did not have a great year. A great year, Greenie, a bad year to him, rather, was 26 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions, over 4,000 yards passing. This is what this man does, okay? I think that he's still one of the great quarterbacks in the game today. I think he has several years left in him. And if you're the Green Bay Packers and you're fresh off of winning 12 or 13 games last season, rather, how is it that you decide that you want to improve your team for the immediate future by drafting the quarterback of the future while Aaron Rodgers is still there? You don't think you could have used another receiver? You don't think you could have used another tight end, a running back, somebody on the defensive side of the ball? This is Aaron freaking Rodgers. And I'm not going to blame Coach Matt LaFleur